Hey there, this is Lauren, owner of Imagined Awakenings, and I am ready to get creative with some resin. As always, please remember safety first. Always use your safety gear and work in a very well ventilated area when working with epoxy resin. So, this video I am working with Mandala Coasters again. I fought with them so hard in my first video that I tried them on. And so I'm working on them again. Last video, I think it was the last video, I worked on them, but I used chameleon powders and skipped the whole painting the definition or detail. But I really want to try that effect because it's super pretty when done right. So I did a little research, not on Amazon. I'm in a couple of resin groups. I'm in like a trillion groups, but anyway, they recommended using paint pens. So these are, oh God, I just looked at the brand. I think I showed you the box before I started. Anyway, but they're acrylic paint pens. So here in this section, I am just using my paint pen to outline all of the detail on the mold so that when I pour my resin, it will already be there, ideally, perfectly, and wonderfully. I did feel like, see, that's where I started, kind of, sort of. The shadow from my big head is sort of blocking, like, probably being able to see the color go on there. And it's just kind of a lightish pale gold. So that's probably making it even harder to see. But so I do periodically hold it up just so you can see, like, the effect. So I found, spoiler, that, the paint pens work, the acrylic paint pens work, but they're real difficult. Most of the colors that I tried, as you know, I didn't just try one, didn't adhere to silicone molds very well. But I read that's just because they kind of just don't mix, and the silicone molds actually kind of have an oil on them. I guess that's part of what makes them, do what they do. So I really did kind of struggle getting the paint onto the molds, as I actually kind of wanted it to be on some of the larger parts of the detail, but it was really hard to get it to stay on there. Like, I would mark it on and then it would just kind of bubble up, like it wouldn't adhere properly. Not that I was frustrated by that or anything. So anyway, it took me quite a while. I sped this up like times 8, no exaggeration. Because it just took a while to get it all on there, but that's like the finished one. And so I didn't make it sit there at all. That's 2. And then here is the final all 4 done. Yay me, after all my years of waiting. Okay, so then I decided that I wanted to try them on this mandala. And I just, oh my God, sorry, Hamsa. I just did a mandala. Hamsa Hand. And I love this. I wanted to try this technique on this as well because this particular, the one on the right, has a lot of detail as well. So on this one, also sped up times 8 because, I'm a very nice person. You're welcome. I wanted to try seeing how the effect would look with multiple colors. So I started off with white at the top, and then I think I did like a bronzy color. It looks bronze there next to me. Just on a little spot kind of in the middle-ish, not the very middle, but the middle of the detail, I guess. You'll see. And then the bottom I did in black. I really like contrasting colors. Have I mentioned that before? I'll mention it now. I really like contrasting colors. So I just went with 3 kind of what I felt like were contrasting colors, just because I wanted to see or get a feel for what kind of look I would get. Literally, I should have sped it up times like 20. I feel like this one, I don't know if it took longer or just as long, but like I said, some of the colors didn't adhere as well, especially the non-metallic colors. So that's maybe something to think about. I think people have better luck with the metallic colors than they do just, all others. But I kept having to kind of go back over and thicken areas and stuff like that. So it just took longer than I expected and also longer than I liked. A little frustrated with that. But I had to finish my experiment. And then a few times I got a little messy, so I took my little sponge makeup brush there and kind of did some cleanup. So here I'm pouring my 2-part epoxy resin. I usually warm up the resin in a sink full of warm-ish water, both parts, just so they'll be more fluid when I pour. And I usually pour the thinner part first, which is usually the hardener, or part B, and then I pour part A into that, as that was actually the manufacturer's suggestion. And I feel like it does make it more fluid and mix better, easier, with less bubbles. I look like I'm stirring here really fast, but I'm not. I just sped it up so you don't have to sit there for the 6 minutes that I usually give myself to get it all to completion. But I think that's the manufacturer's directions as well. It's 5 to 6 minutes. So I just put 6 minutes on and just go for it. So I scrape the bottoms and the sides very thoroughly. Also, you don't really see that very well because I'm going so fast, but you do want to make sure you scrape the sides and the bottom while you're stirring, just to make sure everything is fully incorporated. So it's looking real clearish. That means I'm probably getting to the in there. And similar to probably the last video, maybe, since I'm doing all modes that have like some kind of painting or something in the detail, I usually do the back of solid color. So I colored all of the resin. It's like the second time I've ever done this, like a purpley color. And I used mica powder from the same brand. I think it's Arteza. Look, I done got to lie to you. Anyway, it's the same brand that actually did the pins. So here, I'm just going to pour the colored mica into the molds that I've already prepared with the paint pens. Careful not to overflow. I had that one bad experience, man, and I am just like uber over the top careful about overflowing the molds now, because it just upset me so bad. Okay, so not to derail, because I'm totally doing that now. I'm just going through and making sure every mold has a pretty good amount. They're all kind of, equally filled, etc., but not overly filled. And then I'm pulling out my puzzle piece molds because I had a little left and I thought maybe I could make another pair of earrings. Because I don't want to waste anything. Okay, El Cheapo over here. So like the little tiny bits that I have at the bottom, I usually pull out a tiny mold, usually something for jewelry. And I fill it with those so that, I can still get something out of it. Yay! All right, so anyway, I thought like I did with the ones where I did the all black, where I colored all of the resin all black, I would do something similar here. I added alcohol ink to those to just try to give it a little character. So I just did the same here. Spoiler, added way too much. Way. I should have stopped right there. See where I'm at? Should have stopped there. Did not. Just kept on going my happy little way, and just kind of completely filled it with alcohol ink. And here I am just kind of popping bubbles and digging little lint and hair and stuff out of there. Here I'm just trying to mix in the alcohol ink. It was all a mistake anyway. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to mix it in like I did with the previous I think it was the last video, maybe, whatever. Anyway, so I'm just going over with the heat gun to pop any bubbles. I don't hover over there for 25 minutes. I just spend enough time just to kind of blow it around and get the bubbles out. And that's it. So, happened real quick, but it's the next day and everything is cured. And so I'm going to demold the Hamsa Hand. And I really like the way that turned out. A super unique look. I think the colors, even though the contrasts are still complementary, and I like the way they look against that purplish background. I don't know why I spent 20 minutes just staring at it there off into space, but whatever. And then here are the puzzle piece earrings that I completely ruined, as you can see there, like just ruined. There was no saving them. I eyed them for a second and then I was like, we'll just go ahead and throw those. See how I just threw the puzzle piece in the box in disgust? Yeah. Gather, trash. That's literally what happened. Moving right along. Okay, I have to entertain myself somehow. So here we're going to demold the mandalas now. I kind of did these to sort of replace the very first ones that I tried. They were also purple and gold. Purple and gold, just like these. And so here are these results, and I think they turned out really pretty, a lot prettier than the first ones that I did, because I kept those. They were oopsie molds, not molds, but oopsie pieces, and yeah. So I really like the way that these turned out, actually. On these, I just kind of did the bare minimum of outlining the detail, like I said before, because it was just struggling to adhere to some of the larger parts. I do try to work on that in later videos. You will see as I post and experiment with this whole thing. But I really do like the way that the gold complements the purple, as did my youngest son, the sabotager, because he always has some commentary, and it's usually there as I'm demolding with his opinions. He has lots of them. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'll show you a couple still shots and some close-ups, just so you can get a good view of it. Thank you for coming by. Most definitely appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. I'll see you next time.